To New Thought Center of Hawaii, July 18th, 2021. My name is Lorraine, and I'll be the facilitator today. At New Thought, we take turns facilitating and we invite different presenters every week. So I'm happy to have with us today Rev Bev, as she's affectionately known, Beverley Strutt. She's a minister with the East Hawaii Center for Spiritual Living, and we're so happy to have her with us today. But first, we are going to have a reading from Science of Mind. Annie, could you help us?
The title of today's reading is Broken Open. When you feel yourself breaking down, may you break open instead. And that was written by Elizabeth Lesser. No matter what our emotional storm, there is always something hidden in the inner being that has never been violated. Written by Ernest Holmes, The Science of Mind. The aim for all of us is to learn that by dissolving all sense of blame of others and acknowledging responsibility for the quality of our lives, by virtue of our own thoughts, we can change our lives. Conscious choosing of thought offers freedom from life as victim and life as unfair. Mind is creative, and it is the medium by which we deliberately mold our relationship with the world through the conscious use of spiritual law. Yet, if the theme of brokenness is too hardwired, it can be challenging to cut the cord of blame in a world so readily casting aspersions. Brokenness is not a destination, it is the inevitable enveloping energy that slaps at the face and pounds at the gut to remind us we are vessels of feelings. But what do we do with these feelings, with this seemingly irreparable mess? Do we barricade ourselves from their raw presence, or do we learn to breathe with them and go from someone who is broken to someone who is broken open? Author Vance Havner eloquently states God uses broken things. It takes broken soil to produce a crop, broken clouds to give rain, broken grain to give bread, broken bread to give strength. It is the broken alabaster box that gives forth perfume. Being broken often revives us. It creates within us a spaciousness that did not exist before. Our brokenness is where this leading light can penetrate and shine itself upon all the strengths, talents, and possibilities we forgot were in us. Let us commit to a prayer of recognition, saying with no reservations, everything that shows up in my life is exactly what I need to move me to my next level of greatness. And that was written by Reverend Dr. David Alt. And here's the affirmation. Please repeat after me. I am available to the openness of revelation and renewal.
I'd like to invite Rev Bev up to give the opening prayer.
So let us take a beautiful deep breath in. And we recognize in this moment, in this time, in this place, in this presence, that there is only one power, one universal creative mind, one source. And I call that God. Known by any other name, it is still only one. It is the center, the circumference. It is the beginning and the end, ever sustaining, supplying, supporting, maintaining every single expression of itself. There is absolutely nothing else, only this one. And I know that I am one with it, that we are all one with it as it works around us and through us and as us in all that we do, in all that we think, in all that we say, and all that we experience. It is this divine presence. It is the very breath we breathe, the beat of our heart, the flow of our blood. It is this essence that is life itself soaring through us. And I know that today, as we come together, how blessed we are by the presence of each and every person here. Knowing that we come together in unity, creating a space and a place and a vessel that we get to commune in. We come together in community, that wonderful place of belonging. And I know for the service today that it unfolds with an ease and a grace. So grateful for all those that have shown up here in service to stand witness to the perfect unfoldment. For our wonderful musician today, for the beauty that she brings to this beautiful moment, for everybody that has come forward to bring this, knowing that there is a divine knowingness that wants to be heard, and we allow it to come forward. And I know for each one of us as we walk our path this week, that everything that has come here today will stay with us. And with each smile or hug that we share with another, we share the feeling that we have right here in this very moment, knowing that we can call it easily and effectively just love. So I call this time good, call it done, knowing that Spirit is always saying yes, yes, my beloveds, yes. So please help me claim this together as we say, and so it is.
And
Amen.
so it is. Amen.
We are so lucky to have with us a beautiful music minister in Devorah Home. And I'd like to invite her now to do the opening song.
Thank you. That was so beautiful, that opening. And I really do believe that anytime I sing a song or one of my songs, I'm bringing something to people that they need. It took me a while to get over how arrogant that felt and realize it's a service I'm providing. So the song is about fairies, specifically lavender fairies. So if you guys wouldn't mind imagining taking a big whiff of a lavender plant right now. The lavender fairies, they rejoice. They heard a joyful noise. The ministry of pigeons endeavor to enliven the hyacinth choir voice. And starlight from the night that has passed fell still in the bills of the grass. Tenderness of morning mist unfurled little verdant fists of ferns who will be teaching class. Oh, how those sun's rays strew through ever-lightened beams of the moon to create the perfect patchwork, a backdrop for the day's work till the rainbow rings at lunchtime at noon. Rejoice in the sunshine. La 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 la. La 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 la. And passions in these sipping tins, but a dewdrop sweet as wine, as the fire flushes into ashes over the course of time, and stories old and gestures bold envelop us like a brine, and we numb our stars and slumber hard till the sun shines, and we rejoice in the sun, in the sun, in the sunshine.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you so much, Devorah. And now a word from New Thought. Thanks for wearing your mask. The Board of Trustees feels this practice is still appropriate since we want the center to feel safe and welcoming to all our members and friends, regardless of their vaccination status. Please note that those of us in the front are committed to wearing our masks except when speaking or singing, and there is extra space separating us from the congregation. Thank you so much. I think we'll do miracles and ordinaries now before our second song. So this is a portion of our program where we have a chance to share the things that are ordinary miracles or something momentous that may have happened in your life recently or maybe not so recently, something that you would like to share to keep us, your spiritual community, updated on the miracles in your life. So I'd just like to invite anybody who wants to come up and share to do that now. And I will open the floor for miracles and ordinaries. Well, I would like to take a moment to welcome Pasha's daughter, Laura. Thank you for coming to visit us, Laura. And it's just so great to see how, considering how our lives have changed, I feel that there has been a shift that it's part of the big thaw, I call it, where people are coming out again, they're gathering. Even the tourists that you see around town, many of them look like they're traveling in gaggles of 6, 8, 10. And I think it's because families are once again able to gather. And it's a very good thing. I know so many of us have felt isolated during this time, and it's been kind of a cocoon for many of us to grow. But it's always great to come out of that isolation and to reconnect with our community. And truly, the miracle of technology has helped us to remain strong as a spiritual center. And I just want to offer my thanks to everyone who took the time to be here in person and to tune in through YouTube or the live stream. Thank you for your patience with us since we're not always technologically perhaps as advanced as others. However, everybody in this center has really made a big effort to bring forward their gifts, their willingness, their service. And for this, I'm truly grateful. So, for the miracle of New Thought, I give thanks. Thank you to all the board members, especially. So I guess that's going to wrap up Miracles and Ordinaries for today. So now we have time for another song, if you don't mind.
Okay, all right. This is a song by one of my favorite artists. Her name is Joanna Newsom. And I think it speaks to what will be spoken about today about understanding that in the chaos of a moment, there's blessings and truth, and the end is near. That's the first line. Hey, 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 the end is near. Hey, 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 the end is near. On a good day, you can see the end from here. But I won't turn back now, though the way is clear. I'll stay for the remainder. I saw light, I called it mine. I saw it drawn, so sweet and fine. And I had begun to fill in all the lines, right down to what we name her. How nature does not change by will in the winter around the ruined mill. The creek is lying flat and still. It's water though it's frozen. So across the years and miles and through, on a good day, you can feel my love for you. Will you leave me be so that I can stay true to the path that I have chosen?
Thank you so very much, Devora. That's just lovely. So wonderful to have the musical variety that we do at New Thought and to see people really bringing forth who they are and sharing that. And I think that's part of the platform that we offer here and the variety in speakers. So, Reverend Beverley Strutt, or Rev Bev, as we affectionately call her, this is her second time speaking here. And because we have a Science of Mind foundation for our spiritual center here at New Thought Center of Hawaii, we are just delighted to develop an ongoing relationship with her. Originally from South Africa, she has a varied range of interests and talents, and I'm just thrilled to introduce her. Thank you, Rev Bev.
I just love receiving these. It just makes me feel special. Good morning, everybody. I'm just going to get this in the right place because otherwise I can't see a thing, not a thing. I'm so excited to be back. I really enjoy being here, seeing all the faces that I saw last time, some new ones that I didn't know. Thank you, Lorraine. And my goodness, Devora, what a wonderful ministry you have formed. Just absolutely magnificent. In fact, I think I want to put you in my back pocket and take you on tour with me. I think that could be kind of fun. So, before I even get into anything about my talk today, I have to share with you something from Hafiz that I got online this morning. I'm not big on doing this always, but today it is for me. And I know that if it's for me, it's for all of us, because that's what we teach, right? It says, I sometimes forget that I was created for joy. My mind is too busy, my heart is too heavy, heavy for me to remember that I have been called to dance, the sacred dance for life. I was created to smile, to love, to be lifted up and lift up others. O sacred one, untangle my feet from all that ensnares. Free my soul that we might dance, and that our dancing might be contagious. Oh, what do you think? Oh, Hafiz, I have one of my minister mentors from a long time ago that she would always claim in. She'd go, he's my lover. She just loved him. He's wonderful. So today we're going to move forward into some areas that might be a little bit, not challenging, but could be a little serious. So I always like to start something serious with something really silly and funny. So I have this story about twin brothers, and it was their birthday. Now, the one brother was the eternal optimist, and the other one was the eternal pessimist. And the parents were like, all right, we just want to see what's going to happen. So they put their gifts in their own little bedrooms. They each had their own bedroom. And so what they did is they put in the pessimist's room, they filled it with magnificent gifts, everything he'd ever spoke about his desire. They filled his room with that. And in the optimist room, they put in a big pile of what we call manure. There's a much shorter word for that. And there was a big pile of it in there. So anyway, it was the morning of their birthdays, and they both ran to their rooms to look at their gifts. And the pessimist goes into his room and he's like, oh, so many gifts to open. He's like, I can't deal with all this stuff. It's just too much goodness. So the parents go over to the optimist room, and there he is in the middle of this pile of manure, just scratching around and dancing around and just being this joyful, wonderful creature. And they're like going, yeah, what's going on? They go, I know there's got to be a pony in here somewhere. You know what? Isn't that something we can all look at? there's got to be a pony. And no matter how big that pile of doo-doo is, there's going to be a pony in there somewhere. And so my talk today is actually called Chaos, the Divine Design, which is kind of seems a little odd. I mentioned this to my beloved. He's on the mainland. He's like, yeah, that doesn't sound right. He goes, it's an oxymoron. He goes, it's chaos and design. Well, this is where we're going to go today. So first of all, we look at what the actual definition of chaos is. It's the confused, unorganized condition or mass of matter before the creation of distinct or orderly form. So a lot of it is in science of mind, we call it that unformed substance. But before we go into that, it's just called that chaos, that mess, that's something we can't see anything in. And Pema Chodron, from When Things Fall Apart, she speaks about it like this. She goes, it's the off-center, in-between state. It's an ideal situation, a situation in which we don't get caught and we can open our hearts and minds beyond limits. It's that place where there's infinite potentiality, even though it looks like it's not. It looks like just a mess. And in actuality, what we've come to know in much of the scientific world, especially in quantum physics, that what looks like chaos is maybe just a design, a pattern that we can't see yet. We're just too close. You know, sometimes when we're up close to something, we see it. But as we move away, as we get further and further and further away, we see this magnificent design. A lot of times in nature, we can see it as the spiral. But there is a design in there everywhere. And so today, part of the talk is about how do we navigate with this information that we have, or potential information that we can buy into and believe. How do we navigate chaos? How do we walk through it? Or do we choose to? And remember, that's one thing I always come back to, choice. We always have a choice in how we want to see something, how we want to move through it, and if we want to at all, because sometimes being stuck is actually a very comfortable place. You know, you could just sit there, get on the floor, cross your legs, close your hands and go, I am not going anywhere. I'm perfectly happy in this mess. I'm perfectly happy with all these wonderful gifts around me, and I'm not going to open a single one. It's all possible. And because even Dr. Ernest Holmes says, we never live a choiceless life. Even if we're choosing not to choose, we're still choosing not to choose. We're still choosing. So we're in choice every single minute about how we want to move through things. But a lot about dealing with chaos is, you know Jackson Pollock, right? You've seen his paintings. Would we call that a little chaotic? I think most of us would look at it and go, interesting, very delightful, great colors, but it just looks like a lot of dots or things. And so navigating chaos could actually be like connecting the dots in a Jackson Pollock painting. It would be fun. I think it would be really awful if anybody got a marker and decided to get to a Jackson Pollock painting and start connecting dots. But the idea of it is a way to look at how we see chaos. Let's see if we can connect the dots. Let's see if we can navigate the situation in maybe a different way that'll bring something forward other than what we're seeing in this very moment. So, I mean, just if you think about it, even as children, you know, growing up, we are taught by our games. You know, we even literally have a game called life. I'm not sure how accurate that game is, but it still is one of those that is teaching us all these little games that we play as children, be it Monopoly, Life, Axis and Allies, maybe, if we're into war. Whatever that is, these are all training us in some form of how to navigate situations that are just absolutely not wonderful for us. I used to play pickup sticks. Anybody here play pickup sticks? Yeah, pickup sticks. That was one of my favorite games. I mean, we would grab that big pile of sticks, right? Get the colored one, right into the middle as best as possible. Put it on the floor, boom, and let it go. Now, if you want to see what chaos looks like, just look at that. That's exactly what chaos looks like. But guess what? Our desire was, first of all, to do everything we could to get that colored stick, right? We would look at it, we'd get around it from all angles, and we want to get that colored stick. Because the colored stick, we didn't have to use, we could use another tool. We had another tool to navigate the chaos. So I'd be there with my mom and I'd be like, my mom and I love playing this game. I don't know why. You know, there's certain things that it's just about mom. Well, this one was just about mom. Dad was something different, but this was about mom. We'd get there, and whoever got the colored stick was just like, we were golden. This was the time because you could get in there and just whoop that up, whoop them all the way until it was all clear. That place of calm, there was no more chaos. It was all orderly now. So we had navigated as children this idea of being able to take a situation that looks kind of yucky and turn it into something that maybe had a lot more in there for us to see. The process of doing so was fun. Now, is life always fun? Yeah, I would love to be able to say we can navigate everything our lives with joy and fun. And sometimes it doesn't always look that way. One of the things is you remember your jigsaw puzzles. I mean, I don't know you guys, but during COVID, I probably, I think I did close to 20 puzzles. Yeah. It was my meditation. It kept my sanity. But one of those things with puzzles, I mean, we just empty it out. Now, in my family, we always did the edge first, right? Not everybody does this. Not everybody even uses the picture to go by. But so you're sitting there with this pile of puzzle. There's no picture in there at all. Yeah, I got to tell you, my dad used to always take one piece and stick it in his pocket. And he'd walk around for the whole time with that piece in his pocket. So he could be the one at the end that came up with the last piece. Well, one time we all took a piece without him knowing. So at the end, there were like 5 pieces missing. And he's like, what the heck's going on? Anyway, so what we did from there is slowly and gently, the picture reveals itself. So even in all those little pieces of the puzzle, as they just piled there, it is chaotic. It's a mess. And within there is already the divine design that was going to show up as the picture. We just had to take our time. We had to do it gently. We had to work through it in whichever way your family decided, with or without the box, with or without the edge, with or without all the pieces. But we would work through it gently. And eventually, what did we see? We saw the divine design that was in there already. Unfortunately, sometimes in real life especially, it's not always so much fun. And we get caught up in these ideas of judgment. Good, bad. Right, wrong. Guilty, embarrassed. All these judgments come up in us. And it keeps us in a place where we are not really willing to try and find out something because we've already said it's bad. It's already done. I mean, you guys all know the story of the Taoist farmer. There's this Taoist farmer. He's been working the land all his life. And with his horse, he's been very successful with his crops. Well, one day his horse runs off. And his neighbor's over to just share the disappointment and go, oh, this is just terrible. And the farmer goes, maybe. Well, 2 days later, the horse comes back with 3 more wild ones. The neighbor's back. Oh, this is fantastic. The farmer, maybe. And then the farmer's only son goes off and tries to ride one of the untamed horses, gets thrown off the horse, breaks his leg. Oh, the neighbor's back. Oh, this is terrible. The farmer, maybe. And just after that, they come into the town to recruit people, sons, men, go to war. And they see the son with the broken leg and they pass him over. They don't want him to go. And the neighbor's back over there going, well, this all worked out fantastically. And the farmer goes, maybe. So in the teaching, the Zen teaching, there is this whole idea about non-attachment to what it is, non-judgment about what it is. Because when you see and you hear that story, each step of the way, you like looking, going, well, this is fantastic. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. We don't know. We just cannot tell right away because that picture doesn't show us everything that is possible. It doesn't show us all the stuff that can happen. The next thing, all these things that look so bad can show us something that's really good. But the main part of the story in this instant is not to be in judgment. And how do we do that? What are the tools we use to stay out of judgment? The most important tools we use besides prayer is to bring ourselves back to center. So meditation is one of the tools we use. We go into that meditative place to come back to center. Because the more we do that as we walk through our lives, when we are in a position where we are accosted with something like this out of the blue, we can go, I know that feeling. Let me go back there. Let me go back to that feeling that I've got in my meditation. Let me just sit there and know that I don't have to go to judgment right this minute about this thing. Let me wait. Let me not struggle. Let me just give it time. Let me catch my breath. And let's see what comes from this point forward. Wouldn't it be brilliant if we could do that every single time we were accosted with something that is unlike what we would like to see in our daily lives, in the community, and my goodness, even in the world? It would be absolutely wonderful to do that. And a lot of times, not just about changing and waiting, it's also about our perception. Yeah, that's a hard one, right? That's kind of like personal responsibility. It's our perception. How are you looking at it? What way can you see this picture? One more time. Do you remember those optical illusion pictures that we would get? You know, the ones that literally were these beautiful designs all over the place. But if you could stop for a minute and you could look at it, let your eyes relax, suddenly there's something completely different that is in that picture. Who has done that successfully? Anybody successfully? Yes, excellent. It takes a little practice, a little time to get it right. But one of the great things is that once we have done it once, the second time seems to be a lot easier. In fact, while I was just preparing for this talk, I got one up on my phone. I'm thinking, yeah, it's not going to work. It's on the phone. I got my glasses on. Everything that seems to be in the way, one more time, judging, everything that seems to be in the way of actually making this work, I got there on the phone. Took me a minute the first time. Wow. I was able to see it. And then what was so nice is that I remember that relaxation point. So I went through a whole bunch of them. I could go there like this. It was just fun. I was like, yay, I'm so happy I'm in. I can see all those little designs behind all of it because it's all there in that place of centering, relaxing, allowing ourselves to know that there is something different possible. I've got a quote from Pema Chodron. She says, sticking with the uncertainty, getting the knack of relaxing into the midst of chaos, learning not to panic. This is the spiritual path. It's almost, for me, it's saying when we get ourselves all caught up and we start to panic about it, and we don't give ourselves that opportunity to center, that we're removing ourselves from our greater good. Because one of the things that I really do believe is that there's always something more. There's always something more going to happen. There's always a gift. There's always a gift in there. So it would be so divine for us to be able to see everything in life the way we see our games, the way we see our pictures, with that absolute certainty, that absolute knowingness that what is there in front of us? There is something more to be known, that there is something behind it. But it tends to be a little bit more painful in life. And so we have to nurture ourselves and be very kind. Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of the Science of Mind teaching, he says, the infinite is never chaotic. Therefore, faith in the infinite can straighten out any chaotic situation or condition. So therein lies the key. There is the tool, is the faith. The faith that if we walk in faith, there is going to be a divine design for our greatest and our highest good always. Now, I can stand up here and say that very, very, very clearly and very firmly, because I do know that it is the truth. And I'm sure that as I go through this and I share one or two of my stories, that you will see that you have stories exactly like it in life. One of the things is so often in our lives, and even if you relate back to the story of the farmer, in each one of those situations that happened, there was a gift. Some of it didn't look like a gift, but there was a gift in there every single time. And I do not believe for 1 second that when we find in an awful situation where things are rising up around us, where we have no idea which way to turn, everything is just, it's a hurricane, that there isn't in that center, like the eye, the calm, in there lies a gift. Because in my faith and my belief, the divine brings nothing to me, no problem without the solution, no chaos without the design. It's just not an option. It just isn't. The question for me is whether or not I am willing to see it, whether or not I'm willing to walk it out to see what comes in faith. And one of the ways we get to do that more easily is if we can connect the dots back to something that happened. So often in life, we see a wonderful out picture in front of us. It is exactly what I wanted. All these things are just falling into place. And we take it from there. And that's beautiful. But what if we take that moment and walk it backwards, connect the dots backwards, and see if it connects to a really awful situation? Because oftentimes it does. Oftentimes it is the outpicturing from a terrible situation or a chaotic situation. You can hear the judgment as I'm trying to present this. There's no judgment, but it can feel that way. It's connecting the dots, that which we so are enjoying right here, right now, that wonderment, that beauty, that outpicturing, that love of our lives, or the perfect job, or whatever it is, that beautiful baby came out of a situation that was awful. But we don't go back and do that. And it's okay not to. But here's the reason why I would encourage us doing that from time to time. It's because if we have connected the dots back and we have seen the wonderment that comes out, when we find ourselves one more time in a situation that is unlike what we want, we can go, okay, there's potential for something magnificent. I've seen it before, I've tracked it back, and I can track us forward. I don't know what's coming, but I know something great is on the way. because the divine doesn't lay in judgment or bias for us. The divine is here for our best and highest good as we choose to walk it out and to see it. So, yeah, there comes personal responsibility. But so, why not train ourselves to look at what has been and then I'll picture it magnificently so we have that feeling tone. We have that beautiful feeling tone in our bodies. So, when things are going crazy, we can go, hold on. I've been here before. I've seen this before. I've had this experience. I know this is not all that there is. And I can share a very, very deep story with you about my mom. My mom passed 9 days before I turned 20. She was about to turn 50. She passed 2 days before her 50th birthday. It was lung cancer. It was systemic. And we didn't know, I did not know till the day before. It had just happened that however my dad had chosen to process it, she didn't know either. And we were all living in the same town. She didn't know. It was an extremely traumatic experience, one that I think probably changed my life forever. In fact, I know that it did. And here's the thing. I can stand here today and tell you that one of the greatest gifts I was ever given was the passing of my mom. That doesn't sound right at all. That truly doesn't. Even as I say it, it seems that doesn't sound right. But when I look back at what my life was able to be, what willingness I was able to move forward from there, the life I got to live would have been completely different had my mom been alive. Now, would that have been a fantastic life? I have no doubt it would have been fantastic. But you know, her soul's journey was her soul's journey. And I could have gotten stuck in that. But you know what happens? You know, moms, we always go back to home. For the most part, my mom was in South Africa. And I had the desire as a dancer, which I was, to travel the world, to go and dance and to see things. And I would have been constantly going back home, going back to mom, because that's what we do. And it feels right. And it's great and it's wonderful. With mom passing, literally, she opened the gates of the world to me. And it was like this freedom to go and live the life that was calling me. Knowing that she was always on my shoulder, you know, that was the only thing after she passed I couldn't get away with. Nothing. Because she saw everything I did. It was not always good. I was like, oh my God, Mom, put on your blindfold. Don't see what I'm doing. But it was fun. But if I can stand here today, having connected the dots back in my life, the fact I'm standing right here, right now, all comes from that original start where my mom passed and I was given the freedom to go and live my life fully. Now, I don't think that's the only way we need to do things. Not at all. This is my story. It's very specific to me. But I want to show you how, in a situation, in a life transforming moment that was so painful, so hard to lose my mom at that time, at any time. We never want to lose any of our family. But to be able for me to say here and go back and go, there was a gift in that moment. And I live my life with that gratitude and that knowingness, and I can honor it. To connect the dots back, it's not that hard, and it's really wonderful to do. We would see things a lot differently if we could just do that for ourselves. So let's take a breath with me. It's always a sticky moment for me when I come into a part of my talk that takes me somewhere so personal. But it was so profound, and the realization of it was just So important. And did I have to do some work around forgiveness of myself because I felt a little bit of a freedom and I felt a little bit of, well, okay, that worked out. Well, you know what? I had a choice in the matter. I could either move forward and find, and if I needed to do forgiveness work around anything that I thought that I had misinterpreted or shouldn't have done, I did the work. But you know what? I honored my mom's soul's journey, and I didn't let my soul get stuck and bound up in her soul's journey. That's really a way that we can move forward and honor the divine in as us right now. So, this is great for us to do for ourselves. It's good work. It's not always fun, but it can be. It's exciting when you start looking around and go, all right, I want to see what's in that pile of manure. I know there's a pony in there somewhere. So it's great for us to do for ourselves, but what about humanity? Is there a way that each one of us individually doing this work can change the weight of how humanity moves forward? Is there possibility of divine designs all over the place that are being missed? Because we know that when we do our individual work in our own selves, that it weighs into the big global consciousness. In fact, Centers for Spiritual Living have a global vision. And this is a statement from it. It says, we envision a worldwide culture in which forgiveness, whether for errors, injustice, or debts, is the norm. So often if we take time to re-look, to connect the dots back to the events, into those chaotic situations that we've had judgment, those places where forgiveness just doesn't seem norm, but we go ahead and we do our forgiveness work for it. We look at the beauty that comes out of it. We stand there. If we can do it individually, we can do it as a humanity, as a global humanity that will bring forth this new paradigm, this new emerging consciousness of where our interconnectedness of all life is so important. And we recognize that and know it. So we want to do this work. And here's the plug. I'm going to be doing a workshop this afternoon that'll take us through a very beautiful, gentle process where we can get to that place of some forgiveness. And it's good, I gotta tell you. So we do our work not just for ourselves and the wonderment of our own lives, but as we do our work, we know what is for one is for all. So we are working on a global platform here. So what I would like to do in closing is read this little piece by Reverend Jane Beach. She's a regular contributor to our Science of Mind magazine. She is a divine little lady. She has a spark in her and a spunk like something I've never seen in my life. And Reverend Jane Beach will leave us with this. Accepting things as they are can be hard. It's not supposed to be this way. When everything seems to be out of control, the one thing I can control is me. I can move through this time with as much grace as possible, saving my resentment and hurt for a quiet time with the beloved. Letting go and letting God allows me to relax, create space for peace and happiness. And so it is. Let's take this to prayer. So it is in this place, in this time, that we lean in to that greater potentiality, that greater mind that is the divine, that connects into who we are, that is who we are. We know that the highest, most God and the innermost God is the same God, and so we rest in their knowing that we are supported in all that we do and all that we experience. And we know for each and every one of us that as we walk our path, no matter what it looks like, no matter whether it's a room full of gifts that are just magnificent and everything we desire, or if we have a room that is completely unlike that in there, in both of them, is magnificent, is the divine, is the gift. It is the gift of life unfoldment. It is the gift of possibility, and it is the gift of joy and love. And I know that this is the truth for each one of us right here, right now. So I just release this prayer into the universal action of law, knowing that Spirit has said, my beloveds, you have set your intentions, you've expressed your desires, and it is already done. And you are loved beyond all knowingness. So I just release it knowing that this is so. And together we claim it by saying, and so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Reverend Bev. What an invitation for each of us to take to heart. Devorah, did you have a song for us?
I was going to play a song while the basket was being passed around.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
It's all coming back to me now.
that's the song. No,
It's
not.
time for the offering.
Actually, it's a song by Celine Dion. Like it's all coming back to me now as a Celine Dion song. I have a different Celine Dion song. So well done.
In my hands, I hold the Koa bowl. And here at the New Thought Center of Hawaii, this is a place to give and a place to receive. So, of course, the physical being of New Thought Center of Hawaii needs your financial support to keep the lights on, to keep the presenters and the musical guests arriving, to sustain the physical place that is New Thought. But it's also a place of receiving, knowing that whatever you have to give, even if it's your love, your time, your presence, that is very important to keeping this center what it is, a beloved community. And so I'd just like to pass the bowl around now, asking that you give from your heart and also be willing to receive whatever is yours to take from New Thought, and to know that we're always here from you in the way of knowing that you are always divinely provided for. You are totally sufficient. Thank you, Devorah, for playing music, and I'll pass the bowl around. Oh, we don't pass the bowl. I knew that. We're just going to invite you to give as you leave. And okay.
People come to the bowl instead of the bowl coming to the people. So just one at a time.
I knew that. Yes, please do that.
I pray you'll be our eyes and watch us where we go. Help us to be wise in times when we don't know. Let this be our prayer when we lose our way. Lead us to a place, guide us with your grace, to a place where we'll be safe. I pray we'll find our light and hold it in our hearts. When stars go out each night, we'll all be singing parts. Let this be our prayer when the shadows fill our day. Lead us to a place, guide us with your grace, to a place where we'll be safe.
How lovely.
We have a closing song that we typically do, Hawaii Aloha. Is there anyone here who'd be willing to help us lead this? Oh, good, Marie Claire. You're so beautiful. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Hi. I'm sorry. I'm going to do announcements before I drag Marie Claire up here. Yes, Rev Bev will begin.
I love this free flow form. It's very good. Thank you, Lorraine. Well, I did mention in my talk about there being a workshop this afternoon. Come on back, 1:30. It's going to be lovely. It's about an hour, maybe hour and a half, and I'll take you through the process. It's called Fear to Faith, developed by Strom and Sutton, and it is an intriguing worksheet that we go through together. And at the end of it, you will have a releasing prayer that really allows you to let go of some of the old beliefs and allow you to move forward into some brand new stuff. So come and join me. Love offerings and welcome. 1:30 this afternoon. See you there. Thank you.
Sounds like an amazing opportunity. Is that by donation or
Love offerings. Yeah.
love offerings? All right. Coming up at New Thought Center of Hawaii, we always have Sunday services at 10. There is free childcare available. Reservations are encouraged, but I know today someone was waiting for your children. Now, the next 3 Sundays, we will have the opportunity to meet in person. It'll be live streamed from the lanai, and the recording will be on YouTube the next day. So on July 25th, we have Virginia Halliday, who is a founding member, and her topic is What Happened 50 Years Ago, How Our Center Began. Wow, that's saying something. Music by Carol Connor. On August 1st, Drew Womack. I know he's a talented musician. It'll most likely be a musical program, but maybe he'll have words to share with us. And on August 8th, Rashani Rea. I know she has a retreat center down south. She has those amazing cards that she does. Very well known, well respected person, powerful woman. And our music will be by Woody Plout. Weekly classes, Mondays, we have gentle yoga, 5 to 6:30. Monthly, on the second Sunday of the month, a pre-service healing meditation with the crystal bowls from 9 to 9:30 on the second Sunday of each month. On the last Sunday of the month, it's produce giveaway. So bring to share or bring a bag to take home. The special event is today, Reverend Beverley Strutt's workshop, Fear to Faith, a healing journey through forgiveness and relief. And that'll begin at 1:30 by donation. Service opportunity, volunteers needed for the 50th Jubilee Planning Group. Also, Sunday service volunteers, if you would like to facilitate, as you can see, they'll let anyone do it. You could be a greeter, tech support, produce giveaways are, etc. To receive our weekly e-newsletter, sign up on the website www.newthoughtcenterofhawaii.com. You can also find New Thought Center of Hawaii info on Facebook and Dolphin Podners. Thank you for your patience with me as a facilitator. Thank you so much to Rev Bev and to Devorah Holm and to Barry, our new tech guy. And at this time, I would love to introduce someone who is a beautiful voice in our community. Thank you for helping us with our song, Hawaii Aloha.
Do we stand?
Yes.
Let's all stand and sing together. E Hawaii e kuone hana e kuhome kula iwi nei, oli no au ina pone ani o. E Hawaii, aloha e haoli na o pio o Hawaii nei. Oli e, mana ahe makani a pamai nei. Mauke aloha, no Hawaii. E haoli na o pio o Hawaii nei. Oli e. Maina ahe makani pamai nei. Mauke aloha, no Hawaii. Mauke aloha, no Hawaii.
Have an awesome week. Good, yes, thank you.
And thank you, live stream audience, for being with us. And everybody, next week is the last Sunday of the month, so don't forget your produce and/or your bag to receive gifts.
Give me a hug. Are you fine? Thank you.